Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Beth, here to help you fulfill your potential in meditation. As most of you know, I don't have just one method that I teach to everybody, like one size fits all. Instead, I much prefer to teach people one-on-one. And the reason is that you're all different. So please use these videos as a guideline. And if there's anything that isn't quite working for you or anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. Today's video is about practicing to see the kalapas in meditation. Now, kalapas is a Pali word, and for those of you who aren't familiar with it, what it means is tiny little material particles that make up the whole of the material world, including the body. Now, you could ask, why is it important to see these tiny little material particles called kalapas? And the reason is that it forms the foundation of our vipassana practice. Seeing the kalapas is included in the first stage of vipassana that we call Namarupa Parichedanyana. And what Namarupa Parichedanyana means is learning to discern or define materiality, rupa, and mentality, nama. And so learning to discern or define materiality means seeing materiality on the level that it's momentarily arising and passing away. And that means learning to see the kalapas. So, how do we see these kalapas? Well, if you've already practiced the jhanas, then a good idea is to start by entering the fourth jhana and spending some time there until the mind becomes sharp and powerful and refined. If you've spent some time in the fourth jhana, then the rest of the practice is going to flow much smoother for you. Having emerged from the fourth jhana, you then want to practice 4 elements meditation. Now, if you haven't trained in the jhanas, you can also do this practice just starting with 4 elements meditation without using the jhana first. Now, I've made a separate video on how to practice 4 elements meditation, so I'm not going to go into detail about that practice right now. Instead, I'll put the links to those videos below this one so you can watch those if you want to refresh your memory. So, either having come out of the fourth jhana or starting straight away with 4 elements practice, we engage in 4 elements practice until our concentration on the elements becomes well established. As we do that, we will gradually notice that we start to perceive the body as light. With our eyes closed, we start to perceive the body as light. And that is because all materiality in our bodies and in inanimate matter has light. Now, some of that light is visible to the eye and some of it is not. Some of it is only visible to the concentrated mind. So as we become more and more and more concentrated on the 4 elements, we will start to perceive the body as light. Now, we want to continue to see the 4 elements throughout the body until that light becomes strong and stable and spread throughout the body. At that stage, when the light is strong and stable and spread throughout the body, we want to practice to see the 4 elements in that light. Now, as I said, all materiality, both in the body and in inanimate matter, has light. So wherever there is light, we also find the 4 elements. And so we practice to see the 4 elements alongside the light that we see in the body. Wherever there is light, there is also 4 elements. Now, as we start to see the 4 elements in the light, it might be that the compactness of the light automatically starts to break down. And that's what we want. We want the compactness of the light to start to break down and fragment. When that happens, we're on our way to seeing the kalapas. If we don't notice the compactness start to break down automatically, then we can try seeing the space in the light, hunting for little pieces of space that we might notice in the light as a way to help our perception break down the compactness of the light. As the compactness of the light starts to break down and fragment, we want to continue seeing the 4 elements in these fragments of light. And as we do that, the 4 elements are going to become more and more refined, and we are going to notice that these fragments of light change faster and faster. As we continue to see the 4 elements in the light and continue to break down the compactness, eventually we're going to break down the compactness to the level where we are seeing individual kalapas momentarily arising and passing away. When we get to that stage, we want to practice to see the 4 elements within each kalapa, within one kalapa. Now that needs a very sharp wisdom, because one kalapa doesn't last for long. It's a momentary phenomena. And so, if we're finding it difficult, we can start by seeing, for example, the earth element in general throughout the body, and then the earth element in one kalapa. The water element in general throughout the body, and then the water element in one kalapa. And in the same way with the fire element and with the wind element, until we feel confident seeing the 4 elements in one kalapa. So, as I said, learning to see the kalapas is the foundation for the rest of our Vipassana practice. So it's important that we've managed to practice this stage to the level that we're confident. I'll make separate videos on what we can do next once we've learned to see the kalapas, how we see the different types of kalapas and their causes. But for now, I think this is enough instruction for you to be getting on with, just to learn to see the kalapas clearly. Now, this is a stage of meditation where people tend to get confused. It's a stage of meditation where people maybe aren't sure quite the right way to apply their attention. So if there's anything that isn't working for you, if you feel stuck, if there's anything at all that you're confused about, then please feel free to contact me, and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you individually. As most of you know, I do all of my work on a donation basis, so I encourage you to support me either through my webpage or through Patreon, so that I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for your support. Wishing you the best with your meditation.